Have you ever wondered why some believers seem to experience God's presence so consistently while others only feel spiritually connected once in a while? The difference is often not in how much they love God, but in how consistently they seek Him. Every morning presents a powerful opportunity to draw closer to God before the noise of the world begins. Before the responsibilities of the day demand attention, and before distractions fill the mind, there is a sacred moment when the heart can turn fully toward God. Yet many people wake up and immediately rush into their routines, leaving little room for spiritual connection. Over time, this pattern quietly weakens spiritual sensitivity. But imagine what could happen if you chose to dedicate the first moments of every morning to prayer for the next 30 days. Not just once or twice, but consistently, day after day. Consistency has always been one of the most powerful principles in spiritual growth. Teachers like Joshua Selman often remind believers that transformation is rarely the result of a single powerful moment, but the result of repeated encounters with God over time. A 30-day morning prayer challenge is more than just a routine. It is an intentional commitment to build a daily habit of seeking God's presence. When you start your morning with prayer, you align your thoughts with God's wisdom, your heart with His peace, and your plans with His guidance. Even if the prayer is simple and quiet, the act of showing up consistently before God begins to shape your spiritual life in ways that many people underestimate. Over time, those small daily moments can become the foundation of a deeper relationship with God. But the real power of this challenge begins to reveal itself after the first few days, when the excitement fades and discipline becomes necessary. At the beginning of any spiritual commitment, motivation often feels strong. Waking up early to pray may seem inspiring for the first morning or even the first week. Yet somewhere along the journey, a quiet test appears. Some mornings feel heavy, the body feels tired, and the mind whispers that missing just one day will not matter. This is the moment where many believers unknowingly step away from the very breakthrough they were seeking. Spiritual growth often hides behind the door of consistency, and the enemy knows that if discipline can be broken, momentum can disappear. This is where suspense enters the journey of faith. Imagine reaching the 10th day of this challenge and feeling like nothing significant has changed. The problems of life may still exist. The questions about the future may remain unanswered, and the visible results may not yet appear. But something deeper is quietly happening beneath the surface. Just like seeds planted in soil grow slowly before they become visible above the ground, prayer begins to shape the heart long before circumstances change. Teachers like Joshua Selman often emphasize that spiritual maturity grows through consistent devotion rather than occasional inspiration. Each morning you show up before God, you are strengthening a spiritual discipline that gradually transforms your inner life. Your mind becomes calmer, your faith becomes steadier, and your sensitivity to God's presence grows stronger. What once felt like an obligation slowly becomes a sacred moment you begin to anticipate. The suspense lies in this truth. While you may feel like you are simply praying each morning, God may be quietly preparing answers, guidance, and breakthroughs that will appear when the season is right. When a believer completes a season of consistent prayer, something remarkable begins to happen that goes far beyond the original intention of the challenge. The 30 days do not simply become a completed task, they become the beginning of a transformed spiritual lifestyle. By the time you reach the final days of the journey, the quiet morning moments with God no longer feel like a discipline you are forcing yourself to maintain. Instead, they begin to feel like a natural part of your life, something your heart now desires rather than something your schedule demands. The mind that once rushed into the day filled with worries now starts the morning with peace. The heart that once struggled to focus in prayer now finds clarity and expectation when speaking to God. Over these 30 days, the small daily habit has quietly reshaped your spiritual rhythm. Teachers like Joshua Selman often explain that God honors consistency because it demonstrates genuine hunger for His presence. Each morning you chose to show up, even when you were tired, even when life felt busy, and even when you were unsure if anything was changing. Those moments of quiet faithfulness are never wasted. They build spiritual strength, deepen your awareness of God's guidance, and prepare you for opportunities that require a stronger faith. By the end of this challenge, you may notice that your relationship with God feels more personal and more constant throughout the day. Prayer no longer feels distant or occasional, but becomes a natural conversation with the one who walks with you in every situation. This is the quiet transformation that consistency produces. What begins as a 30-day challenge can become a lifelong habit of seeking God every morning before the world begins. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.